All right, man. This is a fun space, and this is an opportunity that Eddie and I want to take and just try to give away, try to help our community uh, know ourselves, to lead ourselves, get to health. We cover everything from emotional intelligence to communication to our tendencies and our nature, how our nurture plays a role in our nature and the choices we've made throughout life and where we're at right now and what our vision is and how we get there. And so we get to do this professionally and we serve leaders here on the East Coast. But during these calls, we love to bring in some guests and add some other diversity and flavor. And so we're excited to have Italy and Spain represent this morning. Thank you so much, Manuela, for being here. Tell us, we got to hear about kind of what your seasons are like, but how did you start into being a leadership consultant or coach? What got you there?
Yeah,
Share for a couple, share for maybe a minute, and then we'll get into the tool.
Okay, great. I love a challenge because I need to sum up everything in 1 minute. Ole.
Yep.
So
Right.
I've been a journalist for almost 20 years. I was very passionate about communication since I was born. I speak 5 languages and I really wanted to get into broadcast. So I left everything and went to London, and then I worked very hard and got into CNN, Thomson Reuters, Al Jazeera. So I worked with the best. Then after 10 years, I decided to come back and run my mother's restaurant. So I became a team leader for 3 years. My mother died, unfortunately, and I had what I call like an awakening, lost completely my identity, my purpose, a lot of pain, as you can imagine. But within that pain, I reshaped myself. I created my business. I had to quit my mother's restaurant because I realized that wasn't my purpose, it was her purpose. It was a very difficult decision, and I left everything and restarted my life from scratch. Then I started as a coach, but I began as in yoga because yoga helped me heal my grief a lot. It was like the main tool: yoga, mindfulness, spirituality, getting close to God. And after that, I just realized, people really need help with communication, and actually that's my jam. So that was when I started with public speaking, on camera presenting, because I realized people really needed confidence and tools and skills as business owners or people who want to give a speech or presentations. And with this I finished. Not then, but when my mother was still ill, we went the traditional way. So we went to Mexico, Tijuana, to heal her in a holistic hospital. There I met Tammy, and it was a beautiful experience. And when I started my business after my mother died, I reconnected with Tammy, and she told me about the 5 voices and Giant. And I started to use the 5 voices applied to my public speaking program without investing in Giant. And I was already signing clients, with the 5 voices, but not applied to leadership, but applied to public speaking. And of course, after 1 year, people asked me for leadership services. And I thought, oh my God, I'm just going to invest in Giant because they are the best. So I added leadership as an extra service together with public speaking and video. Mm-hmm. I think it was more than 1 minute, but I did my best.
I think we would all sit here for another one of those 1 minutes. Thank you for that. That was a great story. That is just an incredible journey of getting to know yourself and relearn who you are. Tell us what your voice order is.
Guess. What's my first voice?
Geez. Creative, connector.
Almost there.
Connector, creative.
Ole, you got it.
Ole.
Connector, creative, pioneer, nurturer, guardian.
Okay. We share the same voice order then, so no wonder I was so enthralled in your story. Very good. I saw myself in it, and so I don't know if anybody else did, but I definitely did, and appreciate that. And so you have the tool and principle 70-30 that you want to share with us today. Why 70-30? And then take it away. Like teach us what you know.
The best way I can teach this to you guys is applying it to myself and show you what it did for me. Because as we all know, you got to lead yourself first to then teach what you learn to others and lead others, right? So think about it. My last voice is guardian. Okay, so that means that for me, it's very hard to be organized. It's very hard to be disciplined. So that would be in my 30%. So just an overview before I give you I keep, talking about my example. So as you can see, on the left side, we have 70%. On the other side, we have 30%. So the 70% are our natural strengths or natural talents, what's effortless or gifts, what God gave us. Boom, we are born to do the 70%, basically. And that's unconscious competence, meaning that we just do that without any effort, just unconsciously. So for example, in my case, talking with passion and energy is my natural. I don't have to make an effort to talk with passion, for example. Whereas some of my clients, they would have maybe to make an effort if that is not in their 70%. If we are not a connector first voice, also, maybe you might find, or creative, you might find this hard. So the 70% is what you are gifted. And that is key because that means you get energized. So every time I'm on stage, every time I'm teaching, like now, for example, for me, is energizing because it's my 70%. What happens? You need to understand what it's in your 30%. That's why the 5 voices is key, because once you understand your first 2-3 voices, that would be in your 70%. And your last 2 voices would be in your 30%. And what happens? The 30% is what drains you, but you also got to learn it because it's important to keep the balance, right? So you need to learn that behavior, to re-educate, to reprogram your brain. And that's called conscious competence. So I'm gonna launch a question to the audience. I don't know if all of you did the assessment of the 5 voices. If not, I totally recommend, because then you can understand what's in your 70 and what's in your 30. But still, regardless of the 5 voices, just have a think now what you are naturally talented, what would be in your 70%, write it down, and what drains your energy, but you still want to learn those skills or behaviors within your 30%. So I'm gonna give you 2 minutes of silence to just do this self-reflection. 70% natural gifts, 30% behaviors I got to learn. And I would like to ask somebody from the audience who would like to share his or her 70-30. Don't be shy, just go for it. Itzel, you're smiling.
Let's go.
I got you. Let's go. If nobody jumps in, I just got to pick somebody
That's okay. You have to do it. You want me to share my some tasks that are in my 70 and 30? I can relate to you. I can share passionately. I can connect with people and talk to people. That brings me energy. In my 30s is definitely time management and tasks, acquiring tasks and routines, accomplishing them. So it's definitely some stuff that I need to learn how to manage. So I think that's what I would share as far as my 70-30, just doing tasks, finishing them, prioritizing them. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you know your voice order?
Yeah, it's nurture, connector, creative.
Nurture, connector, creative. Very nice. Very, very nice. Nice. Somebody else wants to share before we continue? I pick my next victim. Who's going to be my next victim? Michael. Are you sleeping or are you awake? You're in the car, eh? Are you driving? I don't hear you. Okay. No, we still don't hear you.
I'll share for Mike. He had a hard time unmuting earlier. I'll go for you, Juice.
Okay.
I have a...
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
Right. I have a dishwasher and it broke. And it is in my deep 30 to fix that dishwasher. Just trying to get it out. Not even fixing it, just trying to get it out of the hole that it's in. It took me 2 hours this morning. And so very frustrating morning in my 30, deep in my 30. I'm a creative connector, nurturer, and I don't feel like I have a guardian bone in my body. So yeah, sad.
Awesome. Before we continue, just a quick show of hands. Are we all business owners, or do we have people who are, team leaders for corporations? I'm just gonna ask, who is business owner? Okay. And who works as a leader for a corporation, for a company? Okay, just to know the situation. Perfecto. And now another one. Who thinks is more creative and intuitive compared to those who are more structured and organized? So I'm gonna again, show of hands. Who thinks is more intuitive and creative? Okay. And who thinks is more logical, disciplined, and organized? Lauren, and who else? Bob. Okay. Okay, you see, always
I'll switch my answer.
a smallest percentage. Sorry, say again?
I said I'll switch my answer. I didn't hear what the other choice was.
Okay. So yeah, intuition versus organization. Okay, so before we continue, I just want to share with you a huge shift in mindset that I had when I was applying the 70-30 tool on myself. And then I would love to hear if this resonates within you. It would be amazing. So this is amazing. So basically, I built my entire business intuitively, like just being in massive action, observing what people need from me and serve. So it's been almost 5 years and I'm doing now my business plan. What the heck is she talking about? So I'm doing my business plan right now. But you know what is amazing? Because I let the universe show me the way. And now that I know the way, I bring in structure and strategy. But I was talking to other entrepreneurs and they're like, it depends on your strategy. It depends on your strategy. I'm like, I don't have any strategy. I just don't have freaking strategy. So what I'm saying is, I realize I don't have a strategy doing the 70-30. You can apply this to any job, not just as a business owner. And you know what happened? when I meticulously measure how many hours I work per day, let's say 40, 30, just get all those hours weekly and do 70-30. So literally 70% I will focus, let's say maybe 23 hours per week, I will focus on what gives me energy, because I need that energy to do what drains me, which is the other, let's say 10 hours. So I've been doing that, blocking time weekly to do that 30% that I'm resistant. Because you know what I realized? It is amazing. I was doing 100% what I'm gifted. And so my 70-30 basically look like 100% I only do what I'm gifted. And I never, because I'm my own boss, right? So I don't have a boss telling me to do tasks I don't want to do. So I just do what I feel like doing. So as an entrepreneur, that was a problem because I was lacking important tasks in my business. So when I did that, it was mind-blowing because I realized, can you imagine? I had the same file, let's say tips to structure a speech, repeated 10 times in my laptop, 10 times. Because I was that was the tendency, okay? I discovered, and I'm sharing with you. I was over creating courses, creating lead magnets, creating like guides, creating, and I was accumulating those creations, and I had a mess in my desk, I had a mess in my files. And you know what happens? What really clicked? I was wasting time because I wasn't getting something and just multiply that. I was creating the same thing 10 different times in 10 different ways. So I was wasting time. So for me, really working on that 30, as Eddie said, it takes me a lot of time to create an Excel. It creates me a lot of time, to build my business plan. It's taking me ages, but it's really important that we block the 30% weekly to do that. So I would like now to hear from some of you if this clicked and what's your situation.
John?
Yeah, so I'll share just for sake of time too. This is a master class on the connector voice, but also those who have the same tendencies, creatives as well, those who have maybe guardian as a lower voice in your voice order. Eddie has put the 5 Voices assessment link in the chat. So grab that, take it, share it with your people that you interact with most, and have them take it, and share this video as well, because this has been wonderful. It's a great resource. Thank you so much. It does help us understand how to structure our lives so that we can best show up to do the things that do drain us or that we don't want to do. If we stay in the 100-0, we call that narcissism to an extent. The trash still needs to be taken out. The emails still have to be sent. I still have to tie my own tie. I can't delegate certain things. And so this is huge. It really helps us structure, and we can see how, Manuela, your just everything you accomplished and your efficiencies, your performance probably skyrocketed after that. But also knowing how you work gives you a lot of confidence and peace and grace with yourself to be able to keep putting in the time, especially at the things that are in our left hand or our learned behaviors. So Manuela, thank you so much. That was awesome. As a connector, I got so much from that. I see myself, especially on the entrepreneur side of things. Thank you so much. Very, very valuable.